was kind of your career path up to real estate?
Yeah, so I had an interesting career path. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm glad. I'm so glad that I did everything I did because
Yeah.
I'm here where I'm at today because of it, and I had some experiences for sure. So, um, when I graduated Muskingum, I was still living kind of in my hometown area, New Concord area, but I knew I wanted to get to Columbus. I just was like, I don't know what kind of career I'm going for at this point with a communications degree, but I just know I need to get to Columbus because I know that's where I'm just going to have more opportunity. So I ended up taking a job with BMW Financial and took a job there. Right out of college, moved to Columbus, did that for a little while. I was in the customer service side of it again, just trying to make my way up here.
Sure.
Wasn't
Sure.
that I For me, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. But again, it helped me to be able to, like, I don't know, just work with people, which was what I wanted to do. I knew whatever I decided to do for a career, I wanted it to be with people.
Yeah.
Um, did that for a little while. Then, things in life happen. I'm getting really real and raw here. So, whoever's listening, feel special. But a couple things happened. I was in Columbus, didn't, things weren't kind of panning out as much as I had hoped. And I ended up taking a job back in my hometown selling radio.
Oh wow. Like
Radio.
radio ads?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Radio advertising. So I'd write up the ads for my clients, and then they'd either come in and record them or I would record them for them. It was like a whole thing. Again, I'm from a small town, so like radio advertising is huge there. Like,
Okay.
people love it, and it works, right? Because it's such a small town. So
Small town, right? Yeah.
yeah,
It's all about owning the mind share, right?
exactly, and it works. It still works for them there. So I
Yeah.
mean, everyone listens to the radio in the morning, listens to their favorite radio person. So did that for a little while, but again, that's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in Columbus. So a girl that I graduated college with from Muskingum, she had been up here in Columbus and became a loan officer and was like, hey, I don't know what if you're open to any opportunities, but I became a loan officer, mortgage loan officer. I think you would be a great fit for this. And I was like, you couldn't have asked me at the more perfect time. I was like, yeah, I'm looking to get back to Columbus. I mean, I'm open to whatever. So go and get my mortgage loan originator license, go become a mortgage loan officer, move back to Columbus. Did that for about 3 years. And then was approached by a realtor who I was working with as a loan officer, who was like, hey, would you be open to getting into real estate, being a realtor? And I was like, never actually even thought about it. But it makes sense, I guess. I've been a loan officer, and then I was like, I do kind of sit and look at my phone for houses when I'm not even looking for houses. So maybe maybe I should do it, like, for a career.
Yeah.
So then I became a realtor, and that was July of 2018. And so, yeah, here I am.
So what? Three time. Well, this is the third time, right? Back to Columbus. What was the draw? For you? Was it just the city? Was it? I mean, like for me, like I'm from a small town as well.
Yeah.
I bounced around, but ultimately my parents are still back there.
Yeah.
I still go back there, and for me, it was once I graduated. I always joke, but my dad would have charged me rent if I would have moved back home. So I might as well just figure it out here and pay my own rent here. But what was the draw? Like for me, it was just like you said. I mean, opportunity. Those that are from a small town understand small town mindset. I wanted to get away from that.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
so what was the draw to Columbus?
Yeah, and again, I love my hometown. Again, I love everyone there. I do love the small town, like, feel like you just
Yeah, yeah.
know everyone, and I don't know.
It's slower too.
Yeah, slower too. But like for me, my whole family is still back there. Everyone. Which is, totally fine. But for me, I was like, I don't know, I just feel like I see like a bigger picture. Like, instead of just graduating from college, I decided to go get my master's. Like, I just wanted more. I've always
Yeah,
just kind of wanted more. It's not that I've not been content with my life. It's just that I felt like if I wanted more, I needed to get somewhere that had more opportunity. And then, of course, growing up, it was so funny because, our big trips were like to Columbus, to Easton, to Polaris. And so, like, I'm like, I want to live there, which Columbus is an awesome city. There's bigger cities, obviously, but like, I don't know. I just felt like there was more opportunity. Just, the mindset was different. Just the culture is different. And
Yeah.
I just felt like this is where I wanted to be. And so I've been here since 2014. So
Okay.
yeah, 2014. So
What so when you took the opportunity to um get into, I guess, was the BMW Financial, was that just the back end, or was that more of a sales job?
no, that was literally customer service, like calling in issues with,
So then your real first experience with sales is probably the radio.
radio. Yeah, yeah. First experience,
Um,
which I think was really good for selling something that, like, to me, it wasn't hard to actually sell it there because again, everyone did it. Everyone, was all in. So I kind of had the opportunity when I got that job, that the person who I was she was moving into a manager position, and she already had a portfolio of clients, and then I just kind of took over that portfolio. So it worked out, right? I just had to,
yeah,
drive around town and go visit and try to like upsell them to like do like, remotes, which are where we come set up at your location and, do prizes and stuff. It was a whole thing. Yeah. So that was my
that's awesome.
first sales experience. So
I was just going to ask, was that, did you grow up with that kind of background of sales or
not at all.
entrepreneurship or anything like
No,
that?
no, not at all. So, my dad, my parents are pretty young. When they had me, they were 22 and 20.
Hmm.
My dad worked at a plastic factory, and then he became a state trooper, and so he's been a state trooper for, I don't know, 20 years or so. And my mom, she worked for a nonprofit for a really long time. Oh, there's my dog. See him? He just woke up. Um, um, she worked in a nonprofit for a while, and then she actually ended up working at the radio station, which is how I landed that job. So
Okay.
she's like kind of like their office manager. So and then my sister, she now owns a hair salon back in my original small hometown. But before that, she did like nursing. So there's really no like entrepreneurship just wasn't a thing. Again, small town. It's kind of like go get a job that pays you a set salary. You
Yep.
work your set hours, and you get your 401k and all that good stuff. Like, so I don't know where I got this bone inside of me, but it's here. So
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
yeah,
And that's the whole thing, like I said, about this podcast, and why I love interviewing, just agents that are successful at all different levels, because we all have different backgrounds, right?
yeah,
And the one thing I got tired of is when I got into the business, you do the disc profile, and it's like, if you're not a DI or an ID, then you're going to struggle, and it's like, not really. It's just figuring out what works for you based off of your personality.
exactly. And like when you do those disc profiles, it's almost like it's a negative thing that your profile tells you who you are, and they're like, nope, no good. And I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what? I'm a good person.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So you were approached with this opportunity to come back to Columbus, but
Yep.
be in on the lending side.
Yeah.
What I always say when agents come to our side, hey, you're coming to the good side, right? You're coming to the good side.
100%.
What was that like for you for those 3 years? Did you enjoy it?
Um,
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for sure. But again, just like parents, I have a huge respect for loan officers. I did it. It was super stressful. If you think about it this way, like you're asking people for their social security number, like how much money have you saved over time? How much money do you make? Can I have your firstborn? Like it's like all these like super intense questions. And like, don't get me wrong, I love to get to know people, but like I
yeah,
also I don't like to ask like deep questions that make people feel uncomfortable. So in that time, I always felt like I was making people feel uncomfortable, and trying to just make them like have them know that they could trust me, to take care of them. And it's a huge financial decision. Like, I've got to get your loan approved, and it's just it was tough. And not that I didn't enjoy it, but I was excited to get into the real estate side of it because I literally said, I am tired of asking everyone for their firstborn. Like I don't want to ask for that anymore. I just
Yeah.
want to know the fun things. Like, what do you want in your house? Like, fun. Like, I want to know those things, you know?
Yeah.
So it was a good experience, and it's really helped me in being a realtor to have that experience too. So
So what was the real motivation? Was the real motivation was you liked the real estate space, but you just didn't like asking some of those hard personal questions?
yeah, yeah, I think that's what it was. I mean, I like I said, I enjoyed helping people like that. I mean, that's a huge, you're that whole part of being a loan officer is a pretty big thing. I enjoyed helping people, but it was just like, and the company I was at. So again, I was only in it for 3 years, and it's hard, like just in real estate to build up the clientele. So a lot of it
Yeah.
was like cold business. And so I'm calling people that have no clue who I am. So it's like I really have to like do work very hard at trying to get them to feel comfortable giving me all their financial and personal information. And it was just honestly for me, it just I didn't find that to be the best fit for where I wanted to be.
Yeah. No, I bet though, looking back at it now, it's probably helped you a lot
A
on
ton.
this side of the business when, because I always say like when I'm coaching new agents into the business, one of the hardest questions for me on a real estate agent standpoint in the beginning was, oh, how are you going to pay for this? Right? Like, hey, did you talk about financing? Because the money is, taboo, right? Like typically you don't talk about money to other people and all of those other things. And
Yeah,
I'm sure it's done wonders for you on the real estate side because you've had that, not just the hard questions, but understanding that whole process on the other side.
for sure. Yeah. And like they tell you in real estate school, like don't act like a loan officer because you're not. So I really have to draw that line, but it's nice because you become that like person that your clients like confide in and they ask questions. It's like, hey, my loan officer's asking me for this. Is this like normal? And I can 100% say like yes, like whatever they're asking you for. And that's what I like try, and I feel like I have a great relationship with my loan officers that I work with because like I can kind of like tee it up for them and,
Yeah,
and give them a better chance at like my clients being more comfortable with like giving them what they need, because I just tell my clients like, listen, like it's going to seem like they're asking for a lot and it may not make sense, but whatever they're asking for, they absolutely have to have it. And because I have that experience and I had to do the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been really, really, really helpful having that background for sure. So